Hi guys, it's Becky, and I'm going to be doing some projects for my full set February challenge today. And if you missed the unboxing where I was sorting this bundle, I talked about my plans for this week and kind of what challenges I was facing and all of that, and how I had sort of felt like I had bitten off more than I could chew, and how doing like a full video where I do all four of those projects all in one go, or all four items in one video, it was feeling like a lot to me. And so when I was unboxing and sorting this video, I talked about how I kind of had a plan to grab some of the bundles that I got from Bead Box Bargains. That's all of these boxes here. And my Bargain Bead Box, which if you are a subscriber, you've got this as well. And for this week, I'm going to do a separate video for the necklaces, and I'm going to do a separate video for the bracelets, and a separate video for the earrings, and a separate video for the rings. But I'm going to work from all four boxes at the same time. So I'm going to do a necklace from my Bargain Bead Box. This is the Bargain Bead Box for February. I'm going to do a necklace from this bundle that I got and unboxed with you all, I think it was last week. I'll put a link to my unboxings and sorting videos in the description, because when I do that, I show the product number so that if you see me making something with this and you're like, oh, I really would like those beads, you can go check out on the site and see what that is. I have sorted them, so I don't have those product numbers handy any longer, but it is in that video if you wanted to see that. And these bundles, by the way, they're like limited amounts, so by the time I received it, it had already long sold out before I did that, but a lot of the individual items will still be available. So this was the Be My Valentine bundle that I unboxed. This was the one that I did yesterday. It is the Fuchsia Flowers bundle, and look how pink it is. I love that so much. So I'm going to be using that one as well. And then this was the bundle. This was the companion bundle that they put together as a companion for our Galaxy of Gems Bargain Bead Box. That was January's, and I didn't get a chance to make with this yet. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to grab this bundle, is because sometimes I realize that I spend so much time doing projects from my subscription boxes that I don't ever get around to making things with my bundles. So for this, I'm going to do all my bundles, because that was part of my challenge, was to not just use my subscription boxes, but my bundles as well. Then I'm going to grab all of my bundles, my subscription box, and we're going to make necklaces. So this video is just necklaces. And to keep things easier on me, it's just going to be strung necklaces. So I've picked out some beading wire that I want to use with it. I was debating in my head whether I wanted to use this blue tanzanite or purple soft flex, the purple amethyst. And I think purple amethyst won out for me for this one. So I'm going to use that here. And then I've got this garnet color that I'm going to be using for both of these, and this pink tourmaline is what I'm going to use over here with the fuchsia one. And because we're stringing stuff, my tools are going to be my regular bead stringing tools that I use, which is something to cut the wire. It doesn't have to be a flush cutter. It could just be a regular wire cutter if you are just stringing beads, but because it's handy and I use it all the time, I'm using this flush cutter. I've got a chain nose plier that I'm going to be using for opening and closing jump rings and doing any other things that I need to use pliers with for that. And I've got my magical crimper for crimping my wires when I'm doing those. And I've got some 2x2 crimp tubes that I am going to be using with those pliers in order to create a rounded crimp on the end. If you're making stuff along with me and you've just got regular crimps and a regular crimper, those will work great, but you might want to put a little crimp cover on at the end of it, because sometimes crimps can be a little scratchy on your skin and it kind of makes it look nicer. So that is the plan. And so most of these are going to be similar-ish. We're going to have a focal, and I'm going to go ahead and use this gorgeous focal that came in this bundle for my fuchsia. Let me get the focal and the beads out for that. I'm moving these guys aside so that we can focus on this. No fun pun intended. So I'm going to definitely be using this. And you know what? The great thing about this mat is I've got all these little individual spots to sort things. And the terrible thing about this mat is I have all these individual spots to sort things because I realized after my last project that like this whole area here was just full of random beads left over from projects and pieces of wire that I'd stuck there and all sorts of other things, and like it was giving me anxiety. So I cleared this out. All I have left over here are some beading needles that I've just kind of stuck in the side to keep them out of the way and to keep them off the floor where they could get stuck in your feet and then break off, and then you have to go to the hospital for it. So I just put those, but I cleaned off all of the rest of this mat, and I got a bunch of my like fuzz and dog hair and dust off of it, and it feels so much better. I always forget how much better I feel when I have a clean, fresh workspace, but it feels real good. I love it. So I'm going to be using this, and I'm definitely going to be using some of these beads for this. So let's get some of these guys out. And these were that dyed agate with like this fuchsia color and the black. So I'm going to be using some of those. I'm going to be using some of these mountain jade, this orchid color mountain jade. We'll use some of those. We'll use some of these. And I think I'm going to be using a couple of these heart bead frames. And this is for the necklace. We're just doing necklace on this. And this clasp. So let's get these guys out here and ready to go. I believe some of these spacers would not go amiss to have between some of our beads. And I can get the rest of them out later if when I'm doing it I'm like, oh, I need more of them. I just want these set aside, designated before we get started. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the Fuchsia Flowers bundle. Now let's pick a focal from our Galaxy of Gems companion bundle. And for this, I definitely want to use some of these because we had more of these dyed agate beads, but they're in these gorgeous blue color. So I'm going to be using that for sure in this necklace. Those ones are larger. And I think I want this I Love You to the Moon and Back focal. It's either going to be this one or this one. And I'm really feeling this. So we're going to have that in there. I think I want these wavy disc spacers as well. And I don't have a clasp from this bundle, so I'm going to pull some clasps out. I'll probably just grab a lobster clasp for this one so that I have that. And then these like gold dust finished guys. Let's do some of them. All right. Sort of thinking that one of these might be really good in that too. Yeah, These tiny, tiny microfaceted crystals would be great for that as well, I think. And possibly, I think these purple ones would look amazing with this. Let's find out. If I don't like the way it looks, I can always just not use them. That's always a possibility. All right, now, this is the Bargain Bead Box. And so I think the focal that I want to use for this one is going to be the focal that I talked about when I was organizing this, where we have this beautiful focal right there with the Malaysia jade, and then this part of the chandelier focal, which I don't know if you remember, but when I was unboxing it, I figured out that this will swing open like a jump ring, and so you could take it apart and you don't have to use these together. So I'm going to be using this for another project, and I'm going to be using this as part of my focal for this project. And I thought long and hard about it as to whether I wanted to use the chain with this project, and I think I'm going to just use beads. It's just going to be a stringing project. So I've got this, and then I've got these rondelles that are the exact same color. We're going to use this and some of these flower bead caps. These Malaysia jade rondelles. It's going to be just gold and this color of beads, basically. That's what we're going to have. And then some of these larger faceted beads. And this is going to be my clasp. And that garnet wire is going to look gorgeous with all of these together. So that's my plan for this one. Let's get these out of the way, and then we will pull out the beads that we're using from the last bundle, and we can get started with creating after I pull out the beads for that last bundle. All right. And so this last bundle, this was the one, the Be My Valentine one. It had some maroons. It had like these cool reds over here, and then it had these warm reds, these like strawberry color, like light strawberry color reds. And I love this color of these fire polish beads right here. I think it is gorgeous. I think they are beautiful, and I definitely want to use them in this project. And my question to myself that I'm asking is, do I want to use these plus these dark red ones? And I think the answer is yes. I want the dark red, the tiny dark reds. I want these strawberry reds. I want both of these in the same necklace. And I want these heart spacers in there too. Now for my focal, I thought about creating one with one of these, and I thought about grabbing one of these beads, but it doesn't really go. Like the pink here is going to work a lot better with my fuchsia flowers than it will with this, especially when I'm focusing on reds and golds in this one. I thought about doing a focal using one of these guys, but I think I'm going to be using these in the bracelet that I do for this box. Thought about using the butterflies, and I just decided, like last night when I was looking over all of these, that I'm going to use this focal. And it's one that I got from Bead Box Bargains, just in one of my splurge buying things from them things, because it has, I don't know if you guys can see very well the colors on this, where this side of this stone has that warmer, like strawberry color red, and this side has that cooler, almost purples added to it, darker red. And I think that that is going to make a great bridge between this lighter pink red, not really pink red, more like it's just a strawberry color. It's like that's the color it says to me that this is. And then these, like the darker cherrier kind of reds. So I think that that's going to make a good bridge for that. And that's what I'm going to be using for my focal for that. I've got some jump rings that I'm going to be using, and I still haven't sorted these jump rings after they fell. I need rubber bands to close this, and I don't want to sort it before I've got the rubber band. The rubber band is getting delivered today, so I am going to sort this, and then we'll rubber band it so it won't fall apart again. I could put it in different organizers. That's always a problem. And again, I'm going to use the red garnet for both of these. So since I've got these out here, I'm going to start with stringing this side of all of these, and I'm going to need some, where are they? I'm definitely going to need some bead stoppers. I have more. Oh, there's the other ones. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to string one side, and it'll be held with a bead stopper, and that way you guys only have to sit through me stringing one side of it and not the other, and then I can turn the camera off, string the other side, and catch up with you guys when we are all done. So I've got some big ones, I've got some little ones. I'm just gonna stick my little ones all in here and keep these guys handy for that. So let's do the stringing. We'll just boom, 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 string these guys up. And because I will pull off the amount when I get to it for this other side. So I'm going to start with this. And in order for this to sit right, I'm going to need to add a jump ring to this part. So I'm just going to pop that on here. Dig out a gold jump ring so this works. And I can either go get another plier to hold my... I literally just had these in my hands. Where's my... They fell on the floor. So I'm not cutting my wire yet. I'm going to go ahead and work off the spool for this. And I'm just going to use this to open up my jump ring. It's pretty easy to do. You just pop it into one of these little guys on the sides and then twist. Usually I have another set of pliers or something that will hold that end of my jump ring steady while I move my pliers. So like just 2 pliers will work just fine for that. But this was handy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and have that over there. That way I don't have to search for another set of pliers. And now I've got a jump ring on here. So first thing I'm going to do is put this guy on here, and I think this guy, and this is going to be my limiter because there are fewer of these than any of the other beads in my in that box. So let me divide these into 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm going to want the same number of beads on each side. So that's going to be 7 on each side plus 1 left over. All right. And I'm going to have my hearts pointing out towards the back so that the ones that are, they'll be sitting up with their point down. And let me do about, let's do 3 of these guys. 1, 2, 3. And then a heart. And then another strawberry guy. I keep calling them strawberry, but like, I don't know if that was the actual color. I can't remember. One, 2, 3. All right, so I'm stringing this along. Basically, this is my repeat for this. You know what? Let's just go ahead. And I don't know if I should, for time's sake, keep going with the camera on for the rest of this or not. Decisions. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, since I'm not changing up my pattern that much, but also it's a pretty simple thing to string, I'm just going to keep going for this one. If the other ones start getting tedious, or I start not having things to talk about while I'm stringing, because I know some of you just really like turning this on and listening to me talk about random things while I'm making jewelry. And it's nice to be able to keep you company when you're doing that. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and keep going for this one side. I'm not going to do the other side too, because that way, for the sake of brevity. But yeah, it's real funny how like the bundles are the thing that really got me to start making more purchases at the Bead Box Bargains site. And part of it, I think, is because I don't know if you guys ever get like decision paralysis, where you have been making decisions for like everyone in your household and everyone that you love, and you get to the end of the day and you just don't want to have to make one more decision. Or something like that. Like there's that joke. It's like always like, oh, you know, guys are always like, women never know where they want to eat. But like I think for a lot of people who, you know, run their households and have to make decisions for a lot of people all day long, to then also have to make one extra decision at the end of the day, it's just too much. And that's why it's so hard to be like, oh yeah, I want to eat here. Let's go to dinner at this place. But I get a lot of decision fatigue. And so like if you go to a bead website and there's just so many beads all over the place, and you're like, I don't know which beads to buy. I don't know what I want. I don't know any of this. And so having the bundles pre-built for you so that you don't have to keep making decisions, so you can just hit buy and you already know, because somebody did the work for you of putting them together, so you know they'll go together, you know that they're gonna work, there'll be a cohesive thing that you can then make things from. I love a bundle. I love curated sets. I love all of those. And I think one of the other things too with it is that because the bundles are limited in, you know, the amount that are produced, you also kind of get that like little rush of like, ooh, hey, I scored it, you know. Like it's your dopamine for the day. All right, I'm gonna just check my length on this because I think I like it. So I got all 7 of this side of my these put in there, and I've got my 3 tiny beads between each of them, and then my hearts on either side. And then after I ran out of this bead, I just went ahead and I've got the 3 beads spaced out with these heart spacers. for it to go all the way around. And I think that this is a really good place for me to stop. And I'm just going to snip this off on the other side so that it's the same length, because I'm going to need the same amount of wire for the other side as I'm using for this side. I'm just moving that dish of jump rings out of the way so I don't hit it with my elbow, because that's how it fell down the time before. I accidentally hit it with my elbow while I was cleaning things up, by the way, which is just a sign that, like, I just should not be cleaning things up, I think. Just, I'm going to take that as a sign. So when I do the other part of this on the other side, I'm just going to do the exact same pattern, and then we'll attach a clasp. So I'll come back to this after I do that, but let's start stringing the other projects. So this will be the first one. I'm going to set this aside here for now. Now that I've got that decided on how that was going to go, and I will need to get more of those out. I'm just talking to myself right now, which, you know, you guys can hang out with me while I talk to myself. I'm sure I'm not the only person who does that sort of thing. All right, so I'm still using this red garnet beading wire, and I'm going to be using some more jump rings to put this together. And I think what I want to do with this one is I'm going to need to attach some of this beading wire to each of these corners for this when I'm doing my stringing. So let's get this part and this part attached with the jump rings, which I just set aside so I wouldn't. There we go. And you know, I think I had some oval jump rings that I've completely misplaced, and I think that they might actually be better because the pressure part never ends up on the split part, because the split is in the long portion of the oval. Right. You don't actually have to wear this ring in order for it to work. Right, so I've got my jump ring, I put my guy on there, and then we're just going to attach this one here. And yeah, for this to work, again, you don't actually have to wear it as a ring. You can just slide that in there, have it be there. It's useful if you don't want to find a second set of pliers to use for that. All right. Now, I'm just gonna grab some of this off of here. Yeah, that's about 13 inches, maybe 14. And I'm going to attach, let's go ahead and just cut both lengths off at the same time. That way that's out of the way, and I only have to do this twice. Got a couple of crimp beads. Let's go ahead and crimp the end of the wire to each of these sides. Each of these loops is going to get an end of the wire crimped to it. Now, because there's nothing else on this wire, I don't have to put the crimp bead on first, but I'm going to because it's just habit. But you put the crimp bead on, put it through the wire, and then fold it back on itself, the wire, and so it goes back through the crimp bead. I'm just adjusting my loop to get the crimp a little bit closer, but I still want it to have some movement on here. Don't want that loop to be too tight. I think that's a good size loop. All right, I'm gonna grab my magical crimper. And I love the magical crimpers. I am just, I found this pretty early on in my jewelry making, I guess, career and where I was learning, and it just works so much better for me than the other crimpers because I didn't have a lot of practice with other crimping styles. And also, I'm terrible at putting on crimp covers. I'm so bad at it, you guys. So I'm playing to my strengths, and my strengths are doing the magical crimpers, which do have a learning curve. You're probably going to ruin a few crimps the first few times that you do it. That's okay, because you get better the more you do it. And basically, you squish it flat, and it gives you these little corners on the ends, like raviolis. So then you rotate your wires, and you just open and close it at different angles. And when you do that, this rounded concavity, it smushes down those sharp corners, it smushes down those ends, and it leaves you with this nice little crimp bead right on there. I'm just gonna, that's a little not as flat as I want it to be. I was feeling it with my thumb. That's how I knew. And it is strong. It works best on 0.018 and 0.019 beading wire for this size. If you're using a smaller wire or a thinner wire, just stuff some extra wire in here when you do your crimping. It also only works on 2x2 crimp tubes, by the way. But just stuff some extra wire in there to give it a little more meat for the ravioli, and then you'll be able to crimp it on just fine. So that is one strand that we're going to be stringing onto. I'm going to go ahead and crimp the other one right now, since, you know, that's what I'm doing and the tool's already out. I'm going to go back, actually. All right, and when you do like two of them, I like to kind of look at them side by side before I do my second crimp to make sure that they're about the same size, and that's not quite the same size. Scooch that out a little bit more. It just helps things to be a little more symmetrical. So unless you're actually going for asymmetry, it's nice to just make sure that you're doing it the same way for your second one as you did for your first. And again, make the ravioli, then rotate it, squeeze, and that's how you make a spicy meatball. Yes. Crimps are always like food for me. Like the other style of crimping is like a taco crimp. Tacos. I mean, who doesn't love tacos, right? And this one's like ravioli meatballs. I am not the one who came up with that, though. There are other jewelers who came up with that. It's just very appropriate, and it works really well for describing what you are looking at. All right. Now, here is what I'm going to do with these. I have these bead caps, and I'm going to be using them with these sort of mid-size rondelles. But I've also got these like garnety guys. I'm just going to cut this off so I can start pulling some of these guys off of this strand. And I'm going to go ahead and do 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Right there. going to put on one bead cap facing with the curve part facing away from these beads. So I'm going to go through the bottom of the curve, put on one of these beads, and then put on a second bead cap with the curve facing towards that mid-size bead, like that. All right. And now one of my big guys. It's gorgeous. And then bead cap, mid-size bead, bead cap. And 3 more of these guys. And that's going to be my repeat up the length of this bead strand. And I love it already. It's going to be gorgeous. All right, and the really fun thing is if I run out of these Malaysia Jade beads, I actually have more of them in here, which like this is the companion bundle, or not the companion bundle, the Be My Valentine bundle. They sent this same one that we got in our bargain bead box, so I have more of those if I need them. Probably not going to, but it's nice to know that they will be there if I do need them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. But yeah, the whole thing with like not making decisions, that's one of the reasons I love kits too, because like I enjoy the challenge of coming up with a beading design, figuring out which things will look pretty with which other things, but I also really enjoy not having to make those decisions. Having somebody else who already came up with a design, who already said, hey, put these together in this order and you'll get this beautiful result. So I love kits. I absolutely adore kits. They're fantastic. And I love the ones that are put together by like some of our smaller beading companies. With that sort of thing, like Danielle Wick's kits are great. I love the kits that they do at the Bead Place with Abby Berta. I love the kits that Jill Wiseman's puts together. They are fantastic and really well done. I actually have a project that I'm working on right now in my wind down time, like when I'm not making jewelry for the channel or something else like that. Sometimes I like to just do a little bead weaving project, and especially like kits for that sort of thing are fantastic. And I've got one that I'm currently working on. It's a her Teeny Weeny Selene. It's a kit that she put together with just some smaller beads, not very large beads, but it's something. I'm about halfway done with that one. And then Potomac Beads does really fantastic kits. I just resubscribed to the kit box, and I am waiting for my next. Why did I get more of these? I don't know. I'm waiting for my next my February kit box to get here. There looks like we have some really cool projects in that one. But yeah, I love kits. I love curated boxes. I love kits. And I like sometimes picking things out myself and saying, yes, this will go together. But I need to be in that space to be able to do that, and I don't always get to be with the way that life goes for me, because life gets lifey. I know some of y'all have that problem a lot too, where life just gets lifey, and you need to be able to just maybe turn something on and relax for a little while and let somebody else make that decision so that you don't have to. Well, what do you guys think so far? I love this a lot. Let me see where that's at. I think one more repeat, maybe two. Let's see. And again, I'm only doing one side of this. I'm not doing the other side. So we'll stop and move on to the next one in a minute after I get it to the right length for me. And you guys know I like a short necklace, so none of these are going to be super long. Ooh. I think that's going to be the right length. I'm going to need just one more of these. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6 of those. That's perfect. So one more of those, and then 2 more of these for after. All right, perfect. All right. Now, I could go ahead and, because I've already started like at that spot, I could go ahead and put my clasp on, or one end of my clasp on now, but I'm going to give myself the ability to make adjustments if I need to, like add another extra repeat after I do this one, if I've got both of them on the sides and it's not quite the length that I want. I want to make it just a little bit longer or something else like that. I want to give myself that freedom to change my mind about it. So I'm going to go ahead and pinch this off here. And when we come back and we do the clasp, this will all be done by then. So we'll come back and do that together. I'm just going to string those on the next way on its own. All right, so we've got some galaxy stuff going on here. And you know, I didn't quite intend for it to be sort of the same-ish patterns, but I'm really happy that that's how it's turning out for these. So I'm not going to complain too much about the fact that I'm using the little beads as somewhat spacers, and then we've got our disky spacers, and then our larger beads in here. I'm not mad about that and the way it's turning out. So I've got this, I love you to the moon and back, and I love this. So let me grab a silver, or yeah, a silver jump ring, because that's going to be right there in the middle of this whole situation. And where did I put that one? Yeah, that was the first one. Okay. And I think my limiting factor in how many repeats I can do are going to be this like gold dusty druck. So I just pulled all of them out, and let's divide this in two, because what happens on one side needs to happen on the other side. Okay, so 8 on each side of those. Then we've got our wavy spacers. This guy, these guys, and these. Really fun. I'm just gonna hold it up here so you guys can watch it sparkle a little bit, because sparkling is amazing and I love it. All right, here we are. Let's go back on here. Let's get this jump ring on here so that it'll hang right when it is strung. Oh, I did not open that wide enough. There we go. Now, what color did I decide on for this? I think I had decided on the purple. Yeah, and I'm still good with the purple. Purple's going to be great for that. Let's go ahead and start her off. I think what I need to do is wavy spacer on each side of the jump ring to kind of get, yeah, I'm gonna like that. That's gonna work for me. Now let's open this one up. I'm just gonna cut this end so I can start pulling some of these off of the strand. These small beads, they tend to stay better on a strand and be easier to deal with if we pull them off just when we're using them. All right, so I'm just gonna grab 3 of these, 3 tiny beads. That seems to be what I am doing today. I am okay with that. 3 tiny beads. One of the big blue guys. Like, this is kind of changing things up a little bit, I think. Oof. I like it so far. Let me see how it looks when I've got more than one repeat of it. Come here, buddy. And then just these wavy disc spacers between the small beads. All right, let's do another repeat, see how it looks. If I hate it, I'll take it off and I'll start again. And we'll just do it a different way. Because I'm not married to this. Even if I was, you know, you can always change your mind. Always reserve the right to change your mind, guys. Oh my gosh, speaking of moons, did you know that the moons around Mars, Deimos, and Phobos are really tiny and they look like potatoes? They are not even spherical. Okay, I'm into it. I am into it. I love the chunky beads between the teeny beads with the little spacers in there. That's fun. It is fun to me. Yeah, yep. I'm just gonna keep going. Let's get these all strung, figure out how many of them they're gonna be. 1, 2, 3, because all we're doing today is necklaces. It's just necklaces. We are going to keep it easy. And then I can do bracelets another day. And that'll be fun because it'll be like a bracelet bash, right? You guys love those. And I love them too. And this is like this little necklace party. Little necklace party with all things that I got from Bargain Bead Box and Bead Box Bargains in the last month. I did get more stuff in that sale yesterday, by the way, because they keep adding things to the website, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's beautiful, and I kind of need it a little bit. And, you know, if there's a really good discount, why not? They've already got low prices, so discount makes it even better. All right, I'm just gonna do a fit check. See how many more repeats I need. Possibly one more, maybe two of this. So let's get this guy on here. And I'm just going to add these 3 beads, and then we're going to see how long this is for me. I should probably take a measurement of like my ideal necklace length and use that instead of just holding it up all the time. But each necklace is a little bit different, and sometimes just length from this to this doesn't tell you how these larger beads will have it fit around your neck. Because it's gonna pull the wire, you know, away from your neck a little bit while it's being worn. One more repeat. So I like to fit it on a thing and not just measure it. And maybe that's not how professional jewelry designers do it, but I'm not professional. I am a hobbyist. I like this one. It's got a lot of blues on it. I know it's going to be around the back of my neck, but there we go. Okay. Okay. For a minute there, I thought I only had 2 of these on this side. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, guys. Hold on. All right, so let me get 3 of these guys, and that will be the end of that side of this necklace. I ended up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repeats, and then we just are bookending it with more of these guys. All right, let's scooch this down just a little bit, like that, and then measure off of the spool over here so that I can get an appropriate length cut. And I'm going to stick a bead stopper on these. Set this over here, because look at that. I have my 4th necklace all planned. It's not completely strong. I'm going to do that, the rest of the stringing off camera. Oh boy, this is fun, guys. I am having a lot of fun. All right, we're going to be doing some similar-ish things, but I'm going to be adding these bead frames into the mix. And we're going to have these disc spacers as well. So let's get these guys out. I'm trying to decide if I want you know what? I have some larger versions of these. I think that they might work better inside the bead frames than these small ones. But I can use these other ones for the rest of the necklace. All right, let's pull out some of these larger guys. There are these ones right here. There's also, I think, these might be fun in the bead frame. What? Do I like that? Or do I like that? Whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna want some with a little more pink on them than those two. All right. Let me play around with this, see how I like it. I mean, there's a lot more stuff that I could be using with this, but I'm going to go with these. I'm definitely going to use these dark purple guys as well. I mean, there were some other things that I could have pulled from for this, like these bicones, but I really like these with it, so I'm going for that. I am going for that. All right. I'm gonna need one of these guys on the other side or one of these orchidey guys. All right. Pink tourmaline is my color for this. Let's get this guy in here. And yeah, let's get this guy right here next to it because it's got a really large hole. And it's got this thing. I don't want to hide one of these spacers by having it be right up next to it. So I'm going to put this bead right next to it. This would fit so nice on like some leather or some silver silk. It would look great on that. I'm not designing with that right now though, so I'm just going to go with these. All right, so it's going to fit in there. Let's cut this strand. And I have a decent amount of all of these beads, so I'm not super worried about running out on any of them. I'm going to put 3 of these guys right next to this one. And then spacer, the mountain jade, and a spacer. Like that. Get 3 of these smaller guys. 1, 2, 3. Counting with Beki. Did you guys miss it? All right, let's see how this big bead frame business goes. I am going to put just this bead on first. There's this little space between the bead and the top of this bead frame. I don't know if you guys can see it, this space here. And I think that is enough room for these smaller beads to fit. So I'm going to try that. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I should put it through the bottom hole first. All right, let's see if that fits or if I have just broken this beads. Oop. All right, that is not enough room for both of those. So possibly we just want the one. Just this one. And if it doesn't work with that, I think I'm going to be okay with just that bead being within the bead frame, especially since we have this colored wire, the colored beading wire. Yeah, that doesn't quite fit. I don't know if you guys can see, it doesn't quite fit in there. So let's just do the beading wire, and that way this pink will be visible for part of this necklace. There we go. Oops. You guys can't see that, can you? There we go. All right, so let's do 3 more of these guys. 1, 2, 3. Like so. Another one of these. See how great those purple beads look with this? That is great looking. I love it. And then 1, 2, 3. Bead stringing, super fun. All right, and then bead frame. I'm just gonna do 2 bead frames on each side. I did get more than this for bead frames, but I'm gonna be using some of these in the earring design when we get around to that. Should probably be this weekend. Since it's, I think it's Thursday. Is it Thursday? It feels like a Thursday. I can never get the hang of Thursdays. Does anyone know what that quote is from? If you know where that quote is from, that I could never get the hang of Thursdays, pop me a comment on this video and let me know if you are a hoopy fruit who knows where your towel is. That was a hint. I love it! Look at that! Yes, yes, yes. This was a fantastic bundle for me. I love it. I think I'm gonna stop buying bundles for the rest of the month at least, because this is enough to work with for now. This is more than enough. And I've got like more unboxings that I need to do. I just did one with a curated bead box, but I have a few more that I need to film. And I just want to make jewelry, guys. I just want to be putting stuff together, but also not be like super pressured by the commitments that I made when I was like, oh, hey, everything's going great and nothing weird is happening in my life right now. Because those are always like the famous last words, right? Right? Look at these. So pretty. So pretty. Yeah, this I think is going to be one of my favorites. I can tell already. This one's going to be one of my favorites. It's going to get a lot of wear. A lot of wear. Oh man. I'm gonna take a minute real quick so you guys can see like all these little lines and swirls and things in this bead. I love it. Sometimes I get excited about beads, guys. I can't help it. This is who I am as a person. And I know some of you are the same way. You get excited about beads, and especially pretty beads that are interesting and fun. All right, I am going to do a real quick fit check. Whoop. Almost. Almost. One more of these. 8mm, because I had the 10mm and then I have the 8mm ones. Oh, that's not what I need to put on there. Also, look, I'm missing one of these. I need 3 of them. So let's redo that. Okay, how many of you were yelling at me that I missed one of the beads? Show of hands. Somehow I heard you. Through the magic and the power of YouTube. All right, and I know I'm going to get questions about it, but this bracelet is one that I made with last year's Soft Flex kit for February. It was the Chocolate Kisses kit, and they sent us these fire polish beads, and I followed a tutorial by Aga at Eureka Crystal Beads to make this, and then I just strung these other check glass beads on this bracelet. So I know you guys are going to ask me about this one, and this was a heart tutorial from Aga. I'll put a link to her tutorial in my description if you want to make it yourself. I just substituted some different beads in it than what she used, and I also used beading wire instead of thread and needle. Just want that out there before you guys ask, because you know I'm still in Valentine's Day mode, and I haven't always been a big fan of Valentine's Day. I've often been like, so commercialized, but you know what I love? Half price chocolate day. Half price chocolate. It's pretty great. Last year I found a little tin of chocolates, and even if the chocolate wasn't good, the tin was really cool. That had like embossed like Star Wars things on it. It looked really cool, and I got that for my friend. So, and like I said, even if the chocolate's not good, the tin was really cool, so it was appreciated. And I'm just gonna do one more of these and then 3 more of the tiny beads, and that will be long enough on this side, and I can start stringing the other side of this necklace and get to the point where I am going to attach my clasps. So we'll do all the clasps together. You guys don't have to sit through like the stringing of the other side for all of these like you did with this side. I'll get it all cut up, and we'll attach some clasps, and then we'll take a look at all of our necklaces all together at the end of this. So let's just get this guy. Cut off here. All right. There we go. Ready to go. All right, I will meet you guys back here after I do this. You guys get to time travel. I'm going to go through time the regular way that normal people have to, 1 moment at a time. And I will meet back here. Hooray, time for clasps. All right, so this was my Be My Valentine necklace for the Be My Valentine bundle that I got from Bead Box Bargains a couple of weeks ago. it did not come with a clasp, and I added this from just one of the items that I purchased from their shop. So this did not come with it. This clasp did not come with it, but this still came from Bead Box Bargains because it was actually in a different bundle that I got, and I just went and grabbed it for these purposes. So let's get a clasp connected, and I'm just going to be doing more magical crimping. That is all I'm doing with these. I like the more fiddly end to go on the side where my more dexterous hand is going to be. That's going to be my right hand. So with toggle clasps, I don't know that one side is more fiddly than the other, but I tend to put the toggle part on my left hand, or my right hand side, and then the other part on my right hand side. All right, will this wire go through this twice or just once? I'm just curious. I don't have to do it with this wire. It usually is just fine. But if the beads are going to be a little bit tight on it, sometimes I like to have these beads. And since I've got littler beads next to the crimp and the clasp, I'm not really going to need to do this. Sometimes it's nice to have just a little extra stuff going on there. Let's pull this through. Actually, I don't need to really have that go very far because this side is still free and easy. Wait. Is this going to move? Maybe. It'll be fine. All right. So I like to make sure that there's a little bit of space between the crimp and the next bead so that my crimper can fit in that space. And I don't like to have a chokehold on the toggle because I need the toggle to still have some articulation and to be able to move. All right, let's go ahead and snip this off right here. This is my excess wire. You guys have probably seen crimping before, so I'm sure this is nothing new for you. All right, and because I want there to be some movement in this necklace, I'm just twisting my wire up a little bit so that it's not super tight with the crimps. I want there to still be a little bit of drape and movement. I don't like having super tight crimps. All right, so we put the crimp bead on, put it through the thing. I'm going to feed this down through my crimp and maybe through these top 3 beads. Maybe not though. We will see. I don't know if I feel like doing that. Might feel a little too work-like to me. You know what? No, we're not going to go through those beads. That's enough of that. I don't want to spend too long faffing around. Okay, so we want to make sure we've got some movement. We're coiling it up, and we want movement on that side. And for this, I'm just sticking my fingernail between that bead and the crimp, like that, to make sure that we have enough space for this crimp. On this side, come at it from different angles. All right. So on that side, I don't have the wire coming through the beads, so it's just going to be on there. And all done. And see, the wire's not too tight. So we've still got some movement in that necklace. So project number 1 for this week, done. Let's get this one connected. And this is the project from the Bargain Bead Box for February. And I used all of the components from that Bargain Bead Box. The only thing I added to this was the jump ring and my beading wire. Those are the only things that I added. Everything else came in that box, including this clasp, which I am about to separate. On this jump ring here. Where are you, buddy? There we go. There's the hole. And I know I'm using the this instead of my pliers. That's because my pliers are somewhere on this desk, but not right in front of me, whereas this is right in front of me. I'm just going to take this end off. I love this toggle clasp, this branchy one. It's really pretty, very springy. There we go. I'm just going to leave this jump ring on here, but I'm going to close it up. I'm going to try and close it good. And I'm going to attach my wire, my beading wire, to the jump ring instead of this so that I have more articulation. And there's like that extra layer of bits for that. All right, let's get the beading wire wired. Becky, don't forget. It's okay, it's a jump ring. I could put it on afterwards. But don't forget to do the thing, Bex. All right, and these ones I think are gonna fit too. The wire doubled a little bit easier. No, I'm not gonna mess with that. Nope, putting it through the other beads is just, that's just an extra step that I don't need to be taking today. Just don't need to be taking that. So this is gonna give me some good articulation for when I'm putting this on here. And since this is already connected here, I'm going to go ahead and curl this up to make sure that I have enough space to not have a super tight strand on my necklace. All right, nice round bead here on that end. And we're going to do the other side so that we can close this. All right. Let's get this ready for crimping. But make sure again that this is not too tight. So I'm going to coil this up. See that push those beads right next to where I had that crimp? Just use my fingernail again to move that a little bit out of the way. I like my necklaces to have some drape. I don't like it when they're like all stiff on the neck, unless they're meant to be. They're like super structural, but this is not. This is something that drape is going to be real nice with. Nice to have. And now I've got my branchy leafy clasp. And my flowery focal. And that is our Bargain Bead Box necklace done. So 1, 2, buckle my shoe. We are all done with those. Let's get our third one. And this was from the companion bundle for the Galaxy of Gems box. And you guys, I kind of love this a lot. It's got like chonky bits and then skinny bits with like these little rings in there. And it just looks fantastic. And because this is a mixed metal guy and I've got the gold spacers, I am deciding that I want to use a silver clasp for this one to, you know, bring the whole mixed metals look in full circle. And I did not have any clasps in this companion bundle, so I just grabbed another one of these magnetic clasps, like the one that I'm going to be using for this one that came in this bundle. All right, and one of these on there, put the other one over here. And just like the others, we're going to put the crimp on, go through the clasp, go back through the crimp, but wait until we put the clasp back on because the clasp fell off. And this wire has steel on the inside of it, so I don't know if you guys see me trying to put it through there. Every time I bring it close, the steel is getting bent down to touch the magnet because it is a magnetic clasp. So I'm having fun with magnets, as you do. Right. Let's get this crimped. And I don't have to tighten this end. I will tighten the other end when I crimp it and then coil it at that point so that it's not... Magnets! All right. Fun with magnets. How do they work? All right, so that's good. Let's do the other one on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and separate that for now. So that I can coil this up, keep this from getting too tight when I crimp on the other side. Yeah, I love when clasps stick to the wire that you're using. Super fun. All right. This doesn't need a ton of articulation because I don't have to move or maneuver the clasp around too much. When I'm clasping it, it will do it for me. Fun with magnets. All right. And of course, some of the fun with magnets is that we're getting our crimper stuck to it. It's kind of affecting my ability to crimp well. I fixed it. That crimp was a mess, and then I came back and did more. That crimp was a mess, and now it is beautiful. Ah. These are so great. Look at that. I do love you to the moon and back. I love this. Ah, that's wonderful. Look at that. Okay, so that's number 3. And then our final one, this was with the most recent bundle that I unboxed with y'all yesterday, in fact. And it is the Fuchsia Flowers bundle, because I can buy myself flowers. Now, I've got that song in my head for some reason, which I guess is better than the song that was stuck in my head. I went with my son somewhere yesterday, and he likes to listen to his music in the car. It helps calm him so that he doesn't get, you know, freaked out about being outside with his agoraphobia. So he listens to his music in the car, and the music that he loves the most is anime music. And one of the songs there is like the Digi-Evolution music from Digimon, which is actually a bop. I like that song. But it played twice during our trip yesterday, so I came home and I don't know the words to that song because it's in another language. But I was humming it the entire day. Let me just tell you, it was a lot for me. So having a song about flowers stuck in my head is not going to be a terrible, terrible burden for me with my Fuchsia Flowers bundle. All right, here we go. Let's get this made into a circle. Spherical. One end. It did have me at one point wondering if I could learn how to play that song on my ukulele. Probably can. Somebody's got to have the chords somewhere. I would just need to like learn the words, which wouldn't be like a terribly hard thing to do. It just might be a little bit more difficult than some of the other songs that I've learned words to in different languages. All right, the other end is almost done. Here we go. Oop, let go. Magnets. Oh, this is going to be messy. A little bit messy. It's okay. Oh, here, if I hold the magnet side, I can rotate this a little bit easier. Hold on. Without the magnet getting stuck to it. Ha ha! I figured it out. All right, finally on my last one. That's okay, because we will. Look how beautiful this is. I love it. I love it. It is gorgeous. All right, so that is number 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 completed necklaces. So next video for these guys is I will make some bracelets to go with them. I was like, hold on, is that even? It is. It's even. That's right. So we'll make some bracelets next, and then I think maybe I'm going to do earrings and rings in the same video. So we'll see what happens with that. I hope you guys are enjoying this little series, and if you're playing along with me, I hope you're enjoying having this and that it's not becoming a burden for you either. You know, do what you are capable of doing. Don't overextend yourself, because, you know, you are important, and this should be fun. We should be having fun with our jewelry making, not having it be a chore. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.